All right, y'all, we are back with another video, and this one right here is coming from Doug. Like I said, I will leave the original video in the description. Make sure y'all go show Doug some love. And he said it just keeps getting worse for DA Fanni Willis, and every time it get worse for her, it make us happy, because the more it get worse for her, the more that this whole case is delayed. So that right there is always a win for Donald Trump, due to Fanni Willis and all her scandals and her stealing money, using taxpayers' dollars and stuff like that. So she just done put herself in a hole that she cannot get out of. So that's exactly what's going on. Like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. Everybody been leaving positive comments in the comment section. Also want to thank everybody who clicked on the video for the very first time, and I appreciate everybody who watches the video to the end, because when you do that, YouTube will share it so more people can see my reaction, right? And that right there is where it helps the channel grow. Without further ado, let's dive straight into this, because it seems like more people are starting to come out and expose Fanni Willis, especially the whistleblowers. So let's go ahead and dive straight to it.
Fanni Willis is just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes,
you scratch the surface and it's all just dirt, corruption underneath. This time they're opening up an investigation on her that could lead to money laundering and bank fraud through donations. This is through corrupt donations. This is a long, long investigation that's been going on. Suddenly her name comes up. We'll get to all of it, but it doesn't surprise me now, right? Now that you find all the lying and all this other, many other prongs of investigations in her, it doesn't surprise me. This is old school corruption and how Fulton County, Georgia does things. Welcome to Doug in Exile. I'm Doug TeNapel. This is where the happy patriots are. Watch this.
Did you donate 8,000 times?
I cannot even if it were true, why is that an issue?
Well, it doesn't seem possible that you donated that many times.
You're right. It doesn't, so that's actually disturbing.
We're investigative reporters. We're just trying to figure out there's some fraud happening. This is your name on the FEC website.
I can't imagine that I did that. That's like impossible.
That's impossible.
It's impossible.
So that clip was just James O'Keefe going door to door to seniors who appeared to have donated to this Act Blue. This is an old school left-wing corrupt organization. But seniors who gave thousands of times to this organization, and he would just go and double check the name and the address and match it to the donation.
Yep.
And the seniors have no recollection of making donations to Fanni Willis.
It's over with.
One
Fanni.
of the tipsters behind the investigation, Peter Berniger, has uncovered more evidence of what is called Smurfs, cutouts being used to funnel illicit funds to political candidates.
You're going to hear a lot more about smurfing, both throughout this video, but also through this next election cycle. We'll let them explain it, but I'll wrap it up for you too also.
He has poured through Fanni Willis's donations and found evidence that these donations aren't coming from who they say they are. Like this example from Alberta, Michigan, from a place called the Cabbage Shed.
Yeah, so why would someone in Michigan be giving money to Fanni Willis? So that's the first trigger, is someone from out of state in Michigan is giving money to Fanni Willis. Doesn't make sense.
To Fulton County District Attorney Fanni Willis. And this example from St. Petersburg, Florida, which looks to be, as you guessed it, just a vacant lot.
Steve Crowder did some of this investigating also in the Maricopa County donations. Why are there so many donations coming from empty lots, from non-existent addresses, way beyond just a mistake, but systematic? And oftentimes it's multiple donations coming from the same address.
Now, Florida Senator Marco Rubio's office has taken a look at these Smurfs and has filed a complaint about Act Blue and has demanded the FEC chair and vice chair investigate the radical activist arm of the Democratic Party.
This is Marco Rubio is on the game now, having them look into what's called smurfing. Get used to that word, because it seems to be a new way that the Democrats have been funding all of their corruption for the last 4 years.
From
In
empty
Rubio's
lots.
strongly worded letter, he says, quote, recently alarming reports emerged of fraudulent donations being reported to the FEC by ActBlue. These reports indicate that numerous individuals, including senior citizens, have purportedly donated to ActBlue thousands of times a year.
Senior citizens are particularly vulnerable, and I know my audience has a majority of senior citizens in my audience. So now they're not taking the money from you. They're just using your name and address. And then the donation's probably coming from somewhere else, like a George Soros, but they just need a face and an address to run it through to cover up. So it's still identity theft, but just a warning to my seniors, they're not taking the money from you. They're using your name.
However, according to recent investigations,
Okay, because that right there what got me. I thought they was taking money from them people, but no, they just using their name and their address and got somebody else sending the money. Man, she is going down for that.
Reports, many of these individuals had no idea that their name
Take that
somewhere else, like a George Soros, but they just need a face and an address to run it through to cover up. So it's still identity theft, but just a warning to my seniors, they're not taking the money from you. They're using your name.
However, according to recent investigative reports, many of these individuals had no idea that their names and addresses were being used to give thousands of dollars in political donations, with most of those donations going to ActBlue.
Why would seniors suddenly be donating to ActBlue? It just doesn't make sense. However, senior names and addresses are easy to come up with those lists because you're registered by age in your state. So they could create a giant list of people over a certain age, which means they're less likely to investigate or find out. So you might even want to Google your own name and see if your name and address comes up on some of these corrupt contributions.
It should come as no surprise that ActBlue serves as a vessel for fraud, considering the intentional lack of security ingrained within their donation processes and systems.
How does this apply to Fanni Willis? What's the big deal? Well, ActBlue gave a ton of money to Fanni Willis, and they looked up a lot of these addresses, including, by the way, names with no addresses is another way they do it. They can't find an address for them, and you give a donation. That's another instantly illegal donation.
Our team of data experts, we have run 2 campaign cycles of reports that Fanni Willis's campaign herself filed to the state of Georgia. And what we found is 3 main issues of campaign finance violations.
Okay, here goes the big stuff. This Peter Berniger found 3 fronts where Fanni Willis, it ends up being about 50% of her campaign donations are suspect.
The first one is we found 220 donations made to her campaign, and no name or address at all was provided on the campaign finance reports.
Okay, so that
no name or address. So you got money, somebody donate to you, but they don't have a name or an address, but you just getting donations. And come to find out, but I'm glad Doug did clear that up, because at first I thought that they were stealing money from the elderly, and I sure enough was gonna be pissed off. But the thing is, there's still identity theft. You using these people, and then elderly people, you using their name and their address to get money, to get donations, and they coming from somewhere else and not even the people that you're using. So you can get them in trouble. You trying to use their name and their likeness. You can't do that. Fanni Willis is done. I don't know how in the world is she going to get out of this. You got to realize, she got this right here on her plate with this money laundering thing, identity theft, what her and Nathan Wade just did, stealing taxpayer dollars, going on these trips. And then the audio that Miss Timpson dropped on her when she was in the office showing her corruption. She has so much on her plate right now. They need to get on live TV right now and say that this Donald Trump case that she has, this case that she has on Donald Trump, is done. It's thrown out. But like I said, it is a good thing for Trump because it's being delayed and stuff like that. But we need this right here thrown out. We need the case closed. That's what we waiting on. But this is bad. And then the thing is, she using Trump, saying that Trump is the one that's corrupt. What's more corrupt than you up here using elderly people's name and address for donations, and the donations is not even coming from them. You're using their name and address when the donation is coming from somewhere else. You're stealing. You see, I'm telling you, these people are hypocrites. They'll call you one thing, and they the one that's the problem. They the one corrupt. It's just crazy. Like, stuff like that just makes you really, really mad when you do that to an elderly person. Then the guy, O'Keefe, he went to the door, and the woman like, I didn't donate to her. I didn't do this. Why is my name on here? They had no idea. And we're going to find out how long has Fanni been doing this. Then you paid this man $700,000, your lover, to go after Donald Trump. You have too much on your plate, man. They just need to go ahead and close this case. But this right here is looking really, really bad for Fanni Willis.
That one's easy. Those, if there's no name and address on there,
That's crazy.
they're automatically illegal.
Yep.
That's 5% of them.
Yep.
Now, we looked it up under the state laws of Georgia. That is an automatic black and white violation. So there's 220 right there. That totals approximately $23,000.
Now, on the other forms of fraud, it gets even worse for Fanni.
Now, that's a lot of money when you consider this is a Fulton County, Georgia district attorney race. District attorneys typically don't have these humongous sums that you might see in a national type race.
So why would there be bigger sums for Fanni Willis? Like, people just don't give the district attorneys in that way, unless you're George Soros throwing money in it from the top.
Right. And then she had money coming from empty lots. What? And this is what you call corruption right here.
So the second violation we found is regarding $27,000 in donations that were in excess of the $3,000 limit.
So that's the other clue, is that people just in general don't give that way unless they're corrupt. You don't give big money unless you're trying to launder big chunks of money.
So we're over 10% already of her total contributions to her two campaigns are in gross violation of Georgia campaign finance law.
Okay, that's just 10% though. Where does the other 40% come from? Watch this.
Smurfing is structured campaign money laundering. It's where the bad guys want to take a large sum of money, say $50 million, divvy it up into various campaigns across the country, including Fanni Willis's, whereby they reduce the transaction amount, contribution amounts to very small amounts.
So this is, imagine if you had to give like $5 million or $20 million to a bunch of candidates, left-wing candidates.
Yeah.
And it would be obvious if you just dropped 5 million here, 5 million there. But what if you took that 5 million and you spread it across 5 million donors, right? $1 each for 5 million donors. Well, now you just need a list of 5 million donor names and addresses. And that's where they go to these senior addresses. And they can just give massive amounts of micro donations, more than normal. That's smurfing.
It's from 50 cents, $3, $7, $25. But then they replicate those transactions by the tens of millions over the years.
And it would be very difficult to track, because how often are you going to go track a $1 donation to a candidate? So it's excellent for hiding. It's excellent for not showing who's really giving what to what candidate.
So this is now the big breaking news. We are filing today under sworn oath a complaint to the Georgia State Ethics Commission against Fanni Willis of $160,000 in smurfing.
So she would have gotten $160,000 from micro donations, which could be, $1 to $7, maybe 25 and under, but it would be across a bunch of suspect names and addresses. Now, it's never hard to go looking for these people, but the Democrats never want you to be able to verify addresses, because as soon as you get a list of voter addresses and names, they say that you're going out to intimidate voters. That's what the Democrats did back in Maricopa.
You add these numbers up, and we're over 50%, at least, of all her money coming into her campaign it was unlawful, illegally obtained, and basically she cheated in her elections by using that money.
That's
Ooh, she cheated in her elections by using that money. Y'all remember when she had that video and she was talking about, oh, you shouldn't be sleeping with your with people that work up under you. You shouldn't be stealing money. And come to find out, she did both of them. And then she used this money to cheat the election. You telling me there's no way all of this stuff going down that Fanni Willis just did? There's no way. Everything she just did is she gonna get away from this. She is not getting out of this. I do not see it. She should face jail time due to the fact that you've been stealing money. And this ain't the first time you did that. You're up here using people likeness and kindness. You using people addresses, their names to get your money. Listen to what this guy just said again. Let's take that back.
to intimidate voters. That's what the Democrats
Listen
did
to
back
this.
in Maricopa.
You add these numbers up, and we're over 50%, at least, of all her money coming into her campaign it was unlawful, illegally obtained, and basically she cheated in her elections by using that money.
Wow.
That's Fanni Willis, another front. Does this surprise you? I mean, I would be shocked other than it's Fanni Willis. You go like, well, of course, this is how she runs for office.
We know 100% of them so far have been senior citizens over to the age of 65 and typically into the 70s, 80s, and even 90s. So this is identity theft. This is elderly financial abuse.
Ooh.
And this is criminal money laundering. And we're filing a complaint today against Fanni Willis to hold her accountable.
Yeah, we're going to hold her accountable. But wait, it gets better. Because the way that you hold someone accountable in this case, if she's guilty of this, she's going to jail.
Of course. And again, remember, this is identity theft. This is elderly financial abuse. This is criminal money laundering. This is bank fraud because obviously the transactions are going through the banks.
Just adding a few more of those to her list of crimes. This is on top of the Trump trial. This is on top of her affair. This is on top of all of that. This is
That's what I was going to say. It's on top of her affair, the Trump trial, and all of that. So all of this that she got going on now, she has no time to be worried about Donald Trump. No time to be worried about him. You need to be worried about this bank fraud and money laundering and stealing from the elders and using their name and addresses without them even knowing. Imagine somebody coming to your door right now and say, hey, you on the list? Have you been donated to the campaign? I'm like, I ain't donated to nobody. Why is my name on there? And then some of the money donations she was getting didn't even have a name or an address to it. That's a red flag there.
brand new investigation, a new line into Fanni Willis.
Another one.
Good news for Trump.
Yep.
So there's a multiple and it's cheating in the election. Now, I don't know what statute in Georgia that would be under, but she cheated in her election by using this unlawful money to run her campaigns.
And what would Peter Berniger suggest?
My response, I'd be looking for a response that they go arrest her and indict her.
Arrest and indict her if they find her guilty. Fanni Willis is going down. And I mean, figurative, not literally.
There we go, man. Some more great news right there. Fanni Willis is in hot water. And like I said, all of this is piled on top of the Trump case that she got going on with Donald Trump. Now she can't be running her mouth and trying to talk about what she's going to do to Donald Trump. You need to be worried about this. Because I told y'all, every day is something new coming out about Fanni Willis. So we shall see what's going to happen. But right now, it do not look good. They said they're going to get her for money laundering, identity theft, bank fraud, all type of stuff. So like I said, make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.